As it turns out, journalists are really poorly paid. The State of Ghana Media Report, which was done by the School of Communications at University of Ghana, reveals, that Charlie, the salaries are, woefully, abysmal, and it's no surprise. It's no surprise. In order for a vibrant media industry to make money, it must be, first of all, it must be an effective means of advertising. Okay, it's not that people must spend some people think there should be a vibrant market with lots of companies spending money on advertising budget. That's how the media gets paid. No, if the media is an effective means of advertising, the money will come. How will your business survive if you can't talk to your customers? So if we are effective, they will come. And you can see that the number of media houses that are making money from advertising, enough money to pay their staff and stay afloat, are few. You can count them on half of one hand. So it's no surprise that the pay just does not reflect the amount of work that goes into being a journalist, or the amount of risk that comes with the job. But what does that mean? Because people are still doing the job, it means that they are getting money from somewhere. And that underlines the biggest problem that our media has. Apart from those few companies that are making enough to pay their staff a living, give them enough money to make a living, apart from those few, the rest of them, 500 and something radio stations to even begin with, all of them, the people who continue to come to work every day for such ridiculous salary are still surviving. The question is how? So it's no surprise that as time goes on, people trust mainstream media less and less, because if you do the maths, you shouldn't trust them, right? You shouldn't. And now they are turning to an even less trustworthy source of news, and that is social media, where everybody is a journalist. So whatever anybody likes, they can say. And if it sounds good, it becomes news. Not so long ago, we all were told everywhere on social media that some footballer has put all of his property in his mother's name and blah, 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 blah. To this day, nobody has, been able to confirm that story is true. But it has been held as a truth because it sounded good and it was on social media. That is the gap that is being created by an ineffective media. But the problem is, why are we not paying journalists well? Look at the work they do. Why are we not paying them well?
So, in all fairness, 2/3 of the media in this country should not exist. They don't make enough money. They are not viable, but they exist for other purposes. So, for example, there are newspapers today. They are almost like how do you call that thing, right? They are almost like tools for you to defame somebody. So you can buy printing or subscription, whatever, so that they'll print your story as part of other stories, just to defame somebody. You can't even get the editor to sue. You can't find the person. You can't find their exact printing house to sue. It happens in this country all the time. It's because the space has not been sanitized, and because of how I think. Let me take it from this perspective. If the GJA acted as it was proposed to it some time ago as a labor union and could go from company to company insisting that, listen, you can't pay people this amount of money, there's a basic flaw that journalists should accept in this country. Of course, that will come with specific qualifications and all of that. If they could do so, we're not saying everybody should be paid like billionaires, but that that there are realistic wages, right? You know that you are putting a lot of responsibility on the person, and yet you do not expect the guy to be paid properly enough so that he can deliver on the job, so that peanuts can determine what's news for you. You think about it yourself. You give the guy a big job, and yet you have disabled the person in the position to actually take lofty things. It's not an excuse though, but that's the reality. 80% of the media practitioners, just like politicians, will not stand any proper scrutiny of their finances. So if there's a lifestyle audit today, many will fall. many will fall because they have been compelled, like other people, to pretend to work when people are pretending to pay them. A few of the viable institutions, perhaps we should look at how we can support generally those institutions, because a certain level of independence is required for the patient to be proper. If it doesn't happen, everybody will be compromised along the line. And now, Galamsey people will buy media houses. Tomorrow, cocaine people will buy media houses. The next day, yeah, of course. Why? What's the big deal? Why? Is it just a building or getting all of these things into place? So we should check that. But I still propose the GJA should resist the transition from just a moribund institution to a proper workers' front, a labor union with the ability to fight strongly for journalists to get what is due them.
You see, you're very, I mean, both of you are right. They read about advertisers and the impact they have. And I remember years ago when I wanted to do a PhD in journalism, I was looking at how certain advertisers in the US were able to get media houses to drop stories.
That's true.
Now, they got them to drop their stories because they were huge advertisers. Today, some of these media houses have engaged in paid television. And so that can actually help them raise some bit of revenue. And so may not be so dependent on advertisers. But you just figure it out. Look, when it comes to discussions about who controls the media, even advertisers play a major role because they can tell you what to do and what not to do because they pay you. As in, they put adverts and you run by adverts. Now, and in Ghana here, I mean, you've seen media houses where journalists go out, okay, are giving money, this thing we call solid. And the owners are waiting for them to even come and account for that.
Officialization of the
because you see, they tell you that, but I'm paying you, so any other money you get should be brought to me.
Wow.
And the funny thing is that a lot of these employees, particularly those who run it like political institutions, believe they're doing you a favor by giving you a job to be a journalist. Sadly. Sadly.
Yeah.
And look, and because of this mercenary journalism, people meet you with their individual problems and they tell you go and discuss it on radio. And I mean, people are like, what do you mean by
to
that?
wish people birthday.
Yeah, I mean, and everybody thinks that, everything that the journalist does is about money.
Yeah.
Sadly. And it saddens me. Look, there are times you consider, do I really still need to continue doing this? Because in your hearts of hearts, you believe that, you're serving a certain interest, a national interest. When we were returning from the United Kingdom, we're very excited of coming to help in Ghana's development.
Shape the country.
Yeah, we're going to shape the country. We're here. We have become disappointed, but we're still here, fighting every day. But the way people think, and let me tell you something, the plight of journalists is not just in this country, but it's worse here. To be very honest, it's worse here because in other jurisdictions. So if you go to when we're studying at the time, they'll always remind you that journalism doesn't pay compared to PR, but it pays enough there to take care of yourself.
Yeah,
it pays you.
We are not talking about extra riches.
Yeah, it pays you enough to be able to buy food.
Yes,
and get onto a mortgage.
Yeah,
it pays enough to do that in other jurisdictions. Why can't it be same here? Isn't it interesting that the people who bring you the money, the journalists, in the media houses are the least paid, and those who are supporting staff get paid more? Food for thought.